Okay. Okay.
I don't care what it look like, so I'm trying to tell you it's gonna be alright.
Okay.
I came off through some inspiration and some hope today.
Okay.
It's hard time.
Okay.
Let's go.
They call it sweet from the back to the front. The end of the tail, and we're getting what we want. We're going from the bottom right up to the top. Ain't nobody playing, 'cause we can't be stopped. At the end, we win. We win.
Let's go.
We win. In the end, we win.
Let's get it. Come on.
What's good? What's good? YouTube. What's good? World Wide Web. It is your boy, your host with the most, Smooth T, and you are in the midst of another Smooth T's We Win Sports Talk. Remember, winning is the end game. So if you ain't about to win, don't go win. What's good, y'all? Hey, man. Another episode of Smooth T's We Win Sports Talk. Could have been anywhere in the world. Hey, you chose to be right here with me to hear what I got to say, to hang out with me, man. So I appreciate it, man. Definitely. So look, let's just do some things we always do. Welcome to the show. Right here in the corner. Like, subscribe, comment. You know, let's get these numbers up, man. Let's get these numbers up. So look, do that for me. Like, subscribe, comment. Oh, share. Let everybody know what's going on, man. Let's do what we do. It's 2025. So look, we're gonna thrive in 25. You hear what I'm saying? Oh look, I appreciate you being here. Like I said, you could have been anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But you chose to be right here with me, with your boy Smooth T, your host with the most. Also on all social media networks. Check it out. At Smooth T, the number 4, real. On all social media platforms. Again, I appreciate you being here, man. You could have been anywhere, but you choose to come and kick it with your boy. So look, glad to see y'all, man. We got some great topics coming out today, man. It's been a lot of stuff that's happened. Oh, Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year 2025. We on that hustle right now, you know what I'm saying? 2025, like I said, we're going to thrive, baby. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to stop. We just gonna keep pressing, man. We're gonna run these numbers up for the We Win Sports Talk show. We're gonna get these subscribers up. We're gonna get these likes up. But you know what we're gonna also do? We're gonna bring you the best sports content that you can see out here. And we're gonna talk about everything. Got a lot of stuff going on, man. So we're gonna get right into it. Had to switch up some things a little bit today. Supposed to have my boy with me on the show, Dukes with the school, but hey, he'll be back next week, man. You know, got our schedules conflicted, had some things we had to fix. But hey, that's all good. We'll be back. But so today, you with your boy, your host with the most. Ain't nothing that we ain't never did, ain't nothing that we can't do. So let's get it done. You know what I'm saying? Hope everybody is well. Hope everybody's holiday was great. That's crazy. This year went by real fast. I had a whole year of just kind of reflecting on a lot of stuff, man. And this thing went by quick. And all of a sudden, 24 is over. And now we in 25. So great expectations, big things popping. Big things going down for 2025. So definitely on today's show, man, got a lot of good things we're going to talk about. A lot of good things, like I said, we're going to deal with. So let's go ahead and get right into it, man. Let me pull this up, because I gotta deal with it. Y'all know I'm a man of hats, so let's deal with my first thing that I gotta deal with. Talk about them buffs right there. So wasn't what we wanted, wasn't what was expected, but hey, it happened. Colorado played in the Alamo Bowl versus BYU, another Big 12 opponent, and wasn't a nice day for us in Colorado land as Buffaloes. Wasn't a nice day, but we will live to see another day. So just got to know that it's all good. You know what I'm saying? We took a little L and out there in the Alamo Bowl. See little highlights right here. I'm gonna say it like this. Something I was kind of concerned about that kind of happened was that, and I know the last time when Colorado played against Kansas, there was, Coach Prime said a real blunt and plain. He said, y'all was feeling yourself. Y'all bought into all the hype, and your game out here, you wasn't ready. I'm not going to say this was that time, this time. However, I'm going to tell you who was ready, and that was BYU. BYU, of course, had an 11-2 record. It was 10-2 record at the time. By the end of the game, it was 11-2. But BYU just came prepared to play. What I like in this game too, it reminded me of that Nebraska game. And what I mean by that is because Nebraska had prepared their whole year, had it on their locker room this amount of days until we played Colorado. And that was a big rivalry when they played Nebraska. And Nebraska just kind of, that first half, Nebraska just went in on Colorado and just showed up. And it was a big stage for Colorado. Now, I think had they played Nebraska the second time, they would have beaten Nebraska. However, why did I bring that up? Because I read a report and I was curious about how this was going to play out. And it was saying how BYU had been practicing a whole month. They never stopped practicing. They never stopped preparing for this game for Colorado. For one game, they practiced the whole month. They never stopped. Number one, they felt like they were, and it wasn't against Colorado, it was more so against the national media, that they had been disrespected. And even though they lost the games that they lost, they felt like they had not represented themselves well, and they wanted to bounce back. They lost the game to Kansas 17-13. They also lost the game to Arizona State 28-23. And then they beat Houston 30-18. But those losses is what took them out of play for the Big 12, championship. So they had a lot going for them as far as saying, you know what, we got something to show everybody. And so it wasn't personal against Colorado. However, they were prepared and they were preparing for this game. And it showed because they were just relentless in everything that they were doing. They were relentless. Their running back, LJ Martin, he all 6'2", 225 pounds of just balling. 17 carries for 93 yards. Now, what's different about that is 17 carries for 93 yards. That's an average of 5.5 yards per carry. So it's not like he carried the ball with 34 times for 93 yards. he carried the ball 17 yards for 93 yards, which means, like I said, 5.5 yards per carry, which is really good. Their defensive line, just that 92 that they just manhandled Colorado's line. It's just they were prepared. And so here's the thing. Colorado had a lot going on. And not saying that they were distracted, but between the Heisman race, a lot of awards that they were getting. So they're watching all of this while they're practicing, knowing, okay, we got to play them. So, we're hearing about Shador, we're hearing about Travis. So, you know what? We're going to show them who we are as a team. Those are two people, but we're going to make them as a team beat us. So, and in the midst of that, even though Shador and Travis was getting their flowers and getting their awards, Colorado, their team was basking and soaking all that up too. And here's the thing. When you really focus on beating the team, and it's like, look, we got to show everybody what we got to do. We got to show everybody who we really are, because we felt like we hadn't we hadn't represented ourselves. We hadn't represented ourselves. We hadn't represented ourselves in the right way in previous games. So we have something to show to the world, to the nation, about who we are. And this is not the same old school BYU team that you used to seeing. Their coach has done a great job of bringing them out and changing that culture for winning. And they showed it. Their offensive line, their defensive line. Let's just face it. That's one thing that make the SEC grandiloso and big, was because the trenches. The SEC trenches, nobody could handle the trenches that they would have. They would always have the biggest linemen, offensive linemen, the fastest and most powerful defensive linemen. So the game starts in the trenches. Okay, how good your quarterback is, how good your running back is, how good your wide receivers are, how good your DBs are, your special positions. If you don't have them trenches solidified, then nobody gets to shine. Nobody gets to to show off. And though you may see glimpses of greatness happen, overall, whoever win them trenches is what's going to win the game. And that's what BYU did, man. They dominated in the trenches, and it showed, because they were coming after Shador. They were rushing him. It just showed that they were a more dominant team than Colorado was, and they proved it. And another thing, now on the Colorado side, no running game. Nothing showed up. Michael Welch had 5 carries for 25 yards. Now, that's 5 yards to carry, but they didn't keep it going. Gustav had 3 carries for 11 yards. That was it. Now, if you got a running game, and we this has been a conversation that's been had over and over. I think next year it's gonna change. I think next year, because it's a whole different team coming through. That one thing I think, and I know that Prime is gonna do, is we're gonna get this running game right. Because not having a running game held up a lot of what Colorado should have been able to do. And they were beat by too many teams. And when I say the losses that they had, because they had a good record, but the losses that they had, when you look at who was running the ball against them, that was the issue. They were being dominated in the trenches The other teams the opposing team's offensive line was beating up the defensive line, and their running backs were able to shine. Same thing that happened. Same thing. It's kind of like the same thing that happened in the Michigan Alabama game. Michigan's offensive line was dominating Alabama's line, and Marshall ended up having 100 yards rushing. If Colorado can have 100 yards rushing from one running back with Shedeur and those wide receivers, they literally win the Big 12 championship. Because with what Shedeur could do and with what Travis and LeJounte and Jimmy and Will Shepherd, all of those guys could do, if they had a more powerful running game, they would have dominated the Big 12 because you have no answer for them. And that's the one thing that's the one thing I hate about this season for them, is because if they would have had the running game on point, they would have won the Big 12. Shedeur was the best quarterback with the best wide receivers. And if you got a line that can give you that time, and then a line that can push and make holes for the running back, you can't be stopped. So that's kind of what the Buckeyes have right now. They already had two great running backs. They had two great wide receivers. Will Howard comes in, and now you got Smith and Jukba, and then you got Judkins and the other running back. I can't think of his name right now. But their line is making way for them. Then you see how dominant they can be. We'll get to that later on. But on the Colorado side, man, a running game is just dominant. Now I told y'all, I'm a grown kid that's responsible, so I'm playing the game. So on the CFB 25, I play with Michigan, Colorado, and Georgia Tech. Those are my three go-tos: Michigan, Colorado, Georgia Tech. It's history in all three of those teams. See the past shows, or we can talk about that later. But what I have done is play the dynasty with Colorado, and in that dynasty, I used the running game, and that running game opened up so much for Shedeur and for Travis and for LeJounte and for Jimmy and all, and it just made their offense was pretty dope. And I knew how to use quick plays to take advantage of the speed factor that would compensate for the fact that the offensive line wasn't an Alabama strong offensive line. So I knew how to use them to compensate for that, which is why I know Coach Prime wanted it. If he could have had a running game, even at Jackson State, he had a running game. So had he had a running game this year that was very productive, and the key thing is, when you saw them be productive in the running game, they were run through teams. But it's the consistency that you need, because when you playing running back, that's an attitude, that's a mind shift to be dominant. Even in the trenches, it's a mindset to, I'm gonna beat my man. So that happened. Now, mind you, Heisman Trophy, Travis showed up, 106 yards, touchdown, 4 passes, and in the first half, he had the big play that just almost took over that thing. He had that 43-yard catch. Well, that was for the touchdown. But then in the first quarter, he had a play that went for almost 58 yards, to get the exact numbers. But it would have been a touchdown. Dude snipped the back of his foot, and that slowed him down. Had dude not touched his foot, Travis was gone. That's a touchdown. And then that could have changed the whole perspective of the game because they needed a big play like that. But overall, it was still a great season for Colorado. Proud of what Prime was able to do out there. Buff fans don't have nothing to put their head down. I mean, respect, he made it got to the bowl game as Prime wanted. Just fell a little short. And like I said, it reminded me of, and I proved it because there's a documentary on. I told you I watch documentaries to see. I want to see how people what they do behind the scenes, and I watched a documentary of this game from the perspective of BYU. And man, when I say they were ready, they were turned up. They were ready and turned up and ready to play. Just like the same documentary that I told y'all about that Nebraska had against Colorado on trying to get revenge for what happened to them last year in Boulder. In the same way, the only difference was Nebraska was personal because that's that rivalry. So that's that O State, Michigan, Falcon Saints, USC, UCLA. We don't like you rivalry. So Nebraska they were turned up and they were ready. And then Colorado walked into that stadium and it was like, whoa. Same thing, except BYU was feeling like it's us against the world. Because actually in the Alamo Dome, it was more Colorado fans that showed up for Colorado. And BYU had already felt like we've been disrespected by the media. They weren't disrespected by Colorado because Coach Prime and BYU's coach, they was cool. They had a nice embrace after the game. So, but BYU as a whole team perspective felt like the nation don't respect us. And I mean, think about it. You hearing about Travis, you hearing about Shador, you hearing about them going to the East-West Shrine game, you hearing about everything they doing. Every time you turn around, you hearing Buff, Buff, Buff. Then they got this song called Buff Walk out there by this guy named Smooth T. You know what I'm saying? Pun intended plug. Look. I couldn't think of the message. Nah, but you getting all of this publicity on Colorado's side, and on your side, you getting nothing. Except for your fans and for your team. So they felt like, hey man, it's us against the world. And if don't nobody believe we can win, even on the first takes in the sports centers, you got Nick Saban, the GOAT, saying, Miss Terry won't let me root against Colorado. Colorado's gonna win this game. There's no way that they can handle the passing game. However, BYU was one of the top teams that defended the pass. So you got to be able to mix it up. And like I said, they just played a stronger game. They outmanned Colorado. They outmanned them. And Coach Prime, in his humblest way, always says it. Hey man, they kicked our butt. And if anybody gonna kick our butt, I don't mind that guy because he's a good guy. So, you know, long story short, to wrap that up, it was a disappointing game because that was the last game, the last call for Shador, Travis, Shiloh, DeJounte, Will, all the seniors, Coach Prime. He was very emotional when he spoke in the beginning. He was very emotional. It's the last call. And I was curious about that because I had saw earlier that BYU didn't stop practicing. They stayed practicing throughout the whole time. And while they were practicing Colorado, you know, they weren't practicing. So they came in just more equipped and more hungry for that game. And on that one, you know, it's one thing to say, okay, we're going to go out, let's do it, let's get it. let's win this for the seniors. But your preparation, you got to go out there and you got to show it. And BYU showed that we were more prepared for this game than y'all were. Now, great learning lesson for Colorado, because next year it's going to be a whole different year, a whole different team. And they will see BYU again in Boulder. 2 different teams. But you can get you a little get back on that. You know, like they do it all the time in the NFL. So when a team loses in the Super Bowl, then all of a sudden the first game of the season mess around is that same team, the team that was in the Super Bowl. It's gonna hit different, but you can say, okay, we won. But again, a great season for Colorado. Great season. To go from 1-11 to 4-8 and have the go up last year and have the drop, but then this year come back, new roster, new attitude, new coaches, and we ain't even got into all that stuff. New coaches, new mentality, and they win, and like the way they won, to go to be 9-3 going into this bowl game, get to the bowl game, you lose it, but you still had a successful season. You still had a successful season. And anybody that has said that they haven't had a successful season, you just hating. You just hating because Coach Prime did a bang-up job with Colorado this year. Just didn't get to where they wanted to get to, which was to win that bowl game. Cam played a good game, had an interception also, as we saw in the highlights. But overall, BYU was just tougher. They were just stronger. So big up to, you know, what perspired this year in Colorado. They'll be back. Gonna be better with Juju. But they got Salter, who his brother just signed with them also in the linebacker position. So, you know, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right, and we'll do the whole preview and all that stuff. We Win Sports Talk will be out in Boulder in March for the spring game, and we'll be out there doing some other things. Hoping to get out to other places also, because Sports Talk show. Yeah, I got love for Colorado. I got love for Go Blue, but we gonna be out. 25, I say we're gonna thrive. So we'll be out there in the spring game, and they're gonna be all right. So great season, Colorado. Great season. Like I said, also, if you ain't heard that Buff Walk, go ahead and check it out. We're gonna do something else for the new regime coming in, the new teams. But yeah, that's it with that one, man. I'll take this hat off, you know what I'm saying? So, also, while we talking about it, let's talk about it. Since I said it, let's put on my other hat. Yes, sir. Now, this one right here, I don't know. I missed this one. So, but I'm going to talk about it today because, yeah, it coincides with what happened on the other day, on Saturday. It coincides with what happened on Saturday when Michigan in the bowl game, in the Quest Bowl game, the Reliant Quest Bowl game in Tampa, beat Alabama 19-13. So this right here coincides right with that. And bam, ex-Bama running back Justice Hayes joins Go Blue and commits to Go Blue. I'm just ecstatic with that because I that's gonna add so much to our running game that Justice Hayes has committed to Michigan, and that's That's big because you got a great running back from Alabama who is now getting ready to be a Wolverine. I ain't mad about that at all. And I love it, matter of fact, because he is a baller. He is a baller from Buford, Georgia. So he GA bred, and I don't know how I missed this, but he was the number one portal running back. So not only do we have the number one incoming quarterback for college, but that defense that played on Saturday is coming back, and added additions to that. But also we got this running back that's straight out of Alabama and just a player. So I haven't seen this. So the highlights that we show in here, this is what's coming to Michigan, along with what we already have with Marshall. So he is a bona fide good runner. And one thing you know about Michigan is the Michigan way is we're gonna run the ball first. We played the game against Penn State where we ran the ball when Jim Harbaugh was out. We did not pass, which is why they knew we should have did something on the quarterback side. But that's okay. Next year we're gonna be all right. We got Bryce Underwood coming in, and so we're gonna be all right. But Sharon Moore against Penn State ran the ball a whole fourth quarter basically, and just ran it down their throat. This right here, that breakaway, boy, I can't wait for that. That breakaway speed right there coming to Michigan, and he gonna get stronger and better. That right there, with our offensive line, man, come on, hold on. Let me sip on that. Now, with our offensive line and what we like to do with the running game, that's just adding up to what we doing. And now you got him and Jordan Marshall, that dude that put up 100 yards on Alabama on Saturday. You think that they not gonna ball? Man, you tripping. If you thinking that, because this just gonna be good for Go Blue. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. So, and he got that 22. You know, y'all see that? Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Hold on. Y'all see that? He got that 22. Come on now. That 22, baby. You know what I'm saying? Wear it proudly, my boy. Wear it proudly. That double deuce. So number one, I can't wait for college football 26. Because to play with them, you know, I can't wait for that. But also just to see that go down in action. There's another picture of him actually with that double deuce on. So that's just big time for us. I'm ecstatic, man. I'm so excited about seeing this dude, seeing that right there. We just watching. So, you know, people was like, why would he leave Alabama? Hey man, I can't call it. You know what I'm saying? I can't call it. But I'm happy. He with us and he with them. So I'm cool with it. I'm excited about it. Ecstatic. So yeah. Can't wait. Can't wait. So one last look. Justice Hayes, welcome to Go Blue with that double deuce, that 2-2. Yes, sir. I can't wait. That's gonna be huge. That's gonna be huge for Michigan. So we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. For the record, O State, they're gonna lose a lot of their players to the draft this year. So I hope they rebooting back up, because we definitely rebooting back up here and go blue. And probably tomorrow we're gonna do another show with LT the Guru. And y'all know he a Buckeye fan. But me and him ain't talking about that yet. We're gonna bring this same video footage back up and we're gonna talk about it. So definitely. But I don't know how I missed that. And I was like, wait a minute, I ain't spoke about that yet. So I'm excited about that. So now that's the same way that, man. Cause I ain't at first I was like, man, when I seen that he was in the portal, I was like, man, if Coach Prime can get him. Cause see, I ain't worried about this because I know Go Blue got running backs. Well, after what Marshall just did, and I was cool. So, and I know we got other running backs, but then to find out that he went to Go Blue, man, what you say now? What you say, boy? What? Okay. So definitely we're gonna be in Boulder. But we're gonna be in Ann Arbor this year too. I got to go home. I got to go home, and I got to cover this. So definitely gonna see us in Ann Arbor. That's like we're gonna be in Boulder. We Win Sports Talk will be there. Definitely. So super excited about that, man. Super excited about that. So take that hat off. Make sure the frozy right. Take another sip tonight. But man, I'm just talking about that. So what's next? That's the new blood coming into Michigan on the bottom line. But a couple other things that we just want to kick it with, because it's that time of the season. So we definitely cannot forget about what has happened in this quarterfinal of the college playoffs. CFB quarterfinal playoffs. We definitely can't forget about that. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What happened in the CFB quarterfinal for the playoffs? So let me get my stuff together right here. Give me a second here. Bam, there we go. All right. So, as you can see, we're down to the final four. But to get to that final four, we had some games that popped off that went crazy. Let's talk about this right quick. All right. The Final Four, you had the Rose Bowl game, School in Ohio, Buckeyes versus Oregon, the rematch. You had Arizona State versus Texas in the Peach Bowl right here in the A at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. In the Fiesta Bowl, you had BYU versus Penn State. And then last night, you had Notre Dame versus the UGA Bulldogs in the Sugar Bowl. Let's start with that first game. BYU, Boise State versus Penn State. Kind of said it, y'all. I said it the night before last. I said it. And they proved it. Off the rip, Penn State wasn't having it. They wasn't having it. The first play of the game, Ashton Jensen touched the ball, and all 25 of Penn State's linemen said, no, not having it. Shutting it down. And they showed on the first play of the game, it's going to be a long night for you, brother. Long night. And I said it, man. I said it. Penn State was going to make Madsen show that he was a quarterback because they said, you're not going to beat us, Ashton Jensen. As good as you've been this year, and he's been great. As good as he's been, Ashton Jensen, you're not going to beat us in this game. Your quarterback and your wide receivers going to have to prove that they can beat us. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. So Boise State goes down 31-14. The stat wise, Ashton Jensen ends up with, funny thing, he ends up with 104 yards. However, them some hard 104 yards he got, y'all. And when I say 30 carries for 104 yards, remember when I told you about what LJ Martin did against Colorado? 17 carries for 93 yards, 5.5 yards per carry, 30 yards, 30 rushes for 104 yards, 3.5 yards per carry. And in the first half, the stats get scattered because of what happened in the second half. But by that time, Penn State was already doing their thing. It was already a wrap. So now Meadows did have 23 for 35 yards passing. 23 for 35, passed for 304 yards, 1 touchdown. But 3 interceptions. 3. I told you. Penn State said, no, you got to show us you can play quarterback. So even though you had all those yards, 3 interceptions. 3. Whereas Drew Alter had 13 for 25, 171 yards, 3 touchdowns. And I told y'all, they running back, Kaytron Allen, 17. Here's the difference. 17 carries for 134 yards rushing. 17 for 134 to Ashton's 30 for 104. Allen had 7.9 average on his rushes per carry. That's a huge difference. That's an offensive line saying, we taking this out. So, and then let's not forget about Mr. Singleton here, who had 12 carries for 87 yards. Again, 12 for 87. 7.3 yards per carry. Dominance. Not only did they say, okay, look, we're going to stop y'all. We're going to stop y'all from running. But we're going to show y'all how to run. And my quarterback going to have 3 touchdown passes. 2 to Warren and 1 to Evans. And even then, when you run the ball with that much dominance, and then your quarterback still get 3 touchdown passes, that's dominance. And that's what we said was gonna happen. That's what we had predicted that what happened was that Boise State was going to have to prove that they could win with more than just Ashton Jenkins, because he is their offense. The reason why Madsen had the yardage that he had this year is because proof of how the NFL keeps trying to diminish the running game. When you got a running game, it opens up for your passing game, which is why Coach Prime got to make sure we get us a running game for Salsa and for Juju. But we on the Boise State tip. But because Ashton Jenkins was such a good runner, it opened up for Maddox to do what he was doing this year. But Penn State was like, nah, we see through all that bull jump. We see through all that. We gonna show you we more talented. We in the big boy conference. We in the Big Ten. Y'all in the Mountain West. We gonna show y'all. So you're gonna have to prove to us that you can run, that you can win this game more than just running the ball. Because we're not gonna let you run. And they showed it on the first play. Shut them down. Done. So definitely did the thing. So next you move on to the Peach Bowl. Now this one right here, at Peach Bowl, Texas versus Arizona State. This is probably the most competitive game of the new year. Texas wins in double overtime, 39-31. However, Texas, they was up big on Arizona State. Now, mind you, we don't do no moral losses in Arizona State. You know, you want to win that game. But when I say they gave Texas all they could handle, look here, man. Texas had, it was 17-3 going into halftime. Arizona State scored 16 points in the fourth quarter to tie it, to take it overtime. Now, mind you, I did a previous show and I was talking about Cam Scatterboo and how when he was in that Big 12 championship against Iowa State and how he threw that Heisman pose, and I was like, I don't know why he threw that unless he was just trying to say I should have been in the Heisman race. However, that boy flat balled out. He flattened. If they didn't have Cam Scatterboo, they would not have been in that game. Now, mind you, he had 30 carries for 143 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 4.8 yards per carry. Their quarterback, Sam Levitt, had 222 yards passing, no touchdowns. Cam Scatterboo had 1 pass attempt, 1 completion for 42 yards for a touchdown. So Cam Scatterboo and the field goal kicker accounted for all their touchdowns. He was definitely the MVP of that team, and kind of made me be like, man, dang, maybe he should have been at least in the thinking of that Heisman. You know, you wasn't gonna win it because Travis was gonna get it, but in consideration between him and Shador, two of them people, y'all could have had Travis, Cam Scatterboo, Cam Ward. Cam Scatterboo and Shador in that thing. Because Cam Scatterboo showed his worth. Now, mind you, he was very fatigued because throughout the whole year he hadn't been playing in the fourth quarter a lot. So by the time they was doing anything, he was done in the fourth quarter. But you seen, the fact that he left it all on the field, bro. He left it all on the field. I can't even front that man. He left it all on the field, man. He did his thing. And you could see the fatigue on him because he didn't hide it. But that's what it takes. When I used to tell my sons that superstars are not born, they're made. And that they made through the work ethic that they put out. They made through what the effort that they give on the field, the effort that they give in practice, that translates to the field. So definitely Cam Scatterboo, man. You don't want to say anything about a moral victory, but man, that dude gave Texas everything he could handle. And it came down to double overtime. That's why we ain't even talking about Texas, because most people didn't even think Arizona State was even going to have a chance. This Texas defense that's supposed to have been so strong, this Texas defense that's supposed to have been so big, Scatterboo scattered on through it. So Texas won. They won. But that doggone Scatterboo made some money on New Year's Day. He made some money. He moved himself up in the draft. Definitely. And his will against that Texas team that was, quote unquote, had that strong defense, he did that thing. Just for some numbers, Quinn Ewers, however, had 322 yards passing, had a great passing game, 20 for 30, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Matthew Golden, because the star running back, the star wide receiver was out, but Matthew Golden had 7 receptions for 149 yards, 1 touchdown. They running game wasn't there as much, 18 for 45 on the rushing side for Texas. Contravion Wisner. So, but they won the game, and what do we say here to win? We win sports talk. Winning is the end game. And if you ain't about to win, don't go win. And Texas won. But ASU gave you all you could handle, and now you got to face a juggernaut that I don't know if y'all ready for, because you went through all that with Arizona State, and now you got to go face them Buckeyes with that $20 million rock. Oh. LT the Guru going, all right. So look, this game right here coming up for the Cotton Bowl is the game of, now this year, when we first, if you go look at the very first show that we did, and we were talking about NIL and how college football will never be the same, we talked about the rosters, that the money that was spent, and the Buckeyes had 20 million, but Texas had 22 to 23 million. Michigan had 16 million. I said, we ain't spending no money. I know we ain't spending enough money to win no championship. So I know we not gonna win. So I'd already said Buckeyes gonna win. And then when I seen that report, and I said, oh, wait a minute, Texas spent money on them? We been in the heart of Texas. Everything big in Texas. And the money they spent. So I was just like, okay. But this game in the Cotton Bowl that's coming up, and we're going to talk about the Buckeyes route. This game right here that's going to be the two of the most expensive rosters in college football right now. That's coming up. Now, before we get there, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. The rematch between the School in Ohio Buckeyes. Y'all know in Michigan we don't say their full name, just like they don't say our full name. And it's all good. I respect them as the talent, but I still ain't got to say their name besides the Buckeyes. And that's enough. And the Oregon Ducks. Oregon comes in with that 11-0 record. No, misquoted that. That 12-0 record. That School in Ohio comes in with that 11-2 record with one of those losses by the Go Blue Wolverines. This reminds y'all that. And it's a rematch from that 32-31 game that they had last time where Will Howard made a mistake and said he wanted to be able to redeem himself from that mistake that he made of that clock running out. And mind you, same Oregon team that played our beloved Buffaloes last year, and Dan Lennon get out on that field before the game. I was saying he let everybody come in there, and he ain't never did it before. Let everybody come in there, and he started talking about some. We ain't playing for clicks. They playing for clicks. We playing for substance. Nonsense. Because when you let everybody in there, you showed everybody you trying to get some attention because he felt like the bus was getting more attention than them, and we're going to give y'all something to talk about. The same Dan Lanning-led Oregon team that at halftime when they was up on Colorado said, I hope everybody watching this thing because we ain't done yet. But I hope everybody who's been rooting for them watching this game because we ain't done. Said that at halftime. And Coach Prime, he took it, he said, hey, man, y'all kicked our tail. But you better get me now. If you're going to get me, you better get me now. So that same Oregon team had to face them Buckeyes from that school in Ohio. And at halftime, it was 34-8. They had already won the game. They had already won the game. Already had won the game at halftime. And they was quiet. They took a big dosage of humble pie. Now, mind you, the first time when Ohio went out there to Oregon and lost, I was giving my boy LT the Goo, I was giving him stuff. I was giving my other boy A-Dot, I was giving them stuff. And I said, man, y'all had one job. Y'all let this team come in to our conference, the Big Ten, and y'all didn't go out there and show them, no, this Big Ten ball, and they beat y'all. I said, y'all had one job, and y'all ain't let that go. I was getting them the business, but then it was a close game. So giving that the benefit of the doubt, I asked them again. I said, hey, man, y'all got one job. Now, mind you, what that made me do, because after that Ohio game, Oregon went on a run through the Big Ten, went on a run. And I told y'all I watch documentaries. I saw a documentary on their preparation of what they do. And I was like, ooh, I got to get them boys. So, want to. It's like back in the day when you was a Laker fan, but when Larry Bird got that ball and you was like, man, this what black folks will say, man, that white boy can shoot that thing. That white boy can play. He good. That's how they said it. Just being honest with you. But I had to do the same thing, man. I watched that documentary because I saw how they prepared for the game and how they prepared, and I was like, ooh. I forgot Dan Lennon did come from the SEC. Okay. Let me take off my emotional cap Because how you try to disrespect big cousin Coach Prime. And man, he got him a gold mine out there in Oregon. Them boys be going at it, man. They be going hard. Man. Ooh. So I say, man, hey, I got to respect them. And they quarterback, he been in college about 10 years. But Dylan Gabriel was a baller, you know what I'm saying? So I had to give him that respect, man. But that still don't mean I ain't forgot. I ain't forgot what you did and what you said and how you tried to play us. Ohio didn't forget either. They didn't forget either. Because they was like, oh, we're going to show you who we about now. So I got to give the Buckeyes they props because they showed this is what Big Ten football is about. 34-8 at halftime. That doggone freshman wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith. Oh my goodness. If we didn't have the defense that we had in Go Blue, I would have been concerned about that boy. He's been doing this all year long though. Because his season, he been doing this all year long. Yeah, his season, 14 touchdowns, 70 receptions, 1,224 yards receiving. He been balling now. As a freshman, y'all. He got 2 more years to do this. As a freshman, he was doing this. But that against Oregon, 3rd play of the game. Gone. He had 7 receptions for 187 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. And he had put out there, oh, I got to double back to Arizona State because Cam Scottaboo put out there too. I can't be stopped. And doggone it, he showed it because he was responsible for 80%, 90% of Arizona State's points. Why I say that? Because Jeremiah Smith said the same thing. Y'all can't cover me. Boy, when you say stuff like that, you better bring it. And he brought it. Will Howard had a better game. 17 for 26, 319 yards. 187 of them went to Smith. And Jigba had 5 for 72 and a touchdown. Then that 2-headed monster, Henderson and Judkins. That's what I tell you. See, 8 carries for 94 yards. 8 carries for 94 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11.8 yards per carry, average. Judkins, 17 for 85, 5 yards per carry, average. When I say they opened up a can of whoop, 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 I'm gonna told y'all you ain't gonna come up to the Big Ten and try to act like you running things. This is our house in the Big Ten this year. We paid $20 million for this roster. And when I say they did that thing, man, Oregon didn't have a chance. End of the game, Oregon had some cupcake points. They scored a touchdown in the 3rd quarter. Scored a touchdown with 2 field goals in the 4th quarter. Touchdown. Yeah, touchdown. Gabriel to Holden for 5 yards. And then they tried to do a 2-point conversion that was failed. By that time, it was already over. The game ended up being 41-21. Straight whooping. LT the Guru, boy, he happy, but he was like, man, I was pumping my chest. Boy. Do you hear me? I said, hey, man, I get it. I'm on the phone with him. As I was driving, I was on the phone with him. Hey, man, Talk your stuff, man. Say it with your chest, bro. Y'all did that, man. So, hey, they showed them. Yeah, we remembered. Now we want y'all to remember because now they went home hurting. Yeah. So I can. I mean, I can say I can let it go because they had to take that real humble dosage of humble pie against Ohio, against them Buckeyes. So I mean, coming from a Go Blue fan to them Buckeyes for what they did to my beloved Buffs, respect. Respect. Now, like I said, Oregon balled out this year though, and you know they was the only undefeated team. You know what I'm saying? But ain't no team gonna have an undefeated championship like they did last year. This year, so I still got that on my chest. I can still hold all that. But Buckeyes put them things to them Ducks, and that's one of my favorite commercials too. Is when the dude comes. Is anybody ready for some of my famous scorched duck? And everybody, and he coming to the what's golly. Where they barbecue before the game. The I can't even think of the name. See, hold on. I can't go out like that. What is it called when you barbecue before the football game? Tailgate. He come to the tailgate. He come to the tailgate talking about, anybody ready for some of my scorched duck? And you see the little girl, she got the little duck and she put it over her eyes. And the Oregon Duck be like, and he start walking out, he kicking the chairs. That's one of my favorite commercials. But respect to Oregon, man, because y'all had a great season. You know, I just wanted y'all to feel some of that pain because we felt that pain in Colorado off of that nonsense. Damn, then see, it's the difference. If he'd have just beat us and wasn't talking that nonsense, but man, Prime don't be talking. We don't mess with nobody. Prime don't be talking junk to nobody. Prime get everybody respect, man. And you was just hating because of the fact that Coach Prime, who he was, he deserved. He's a Hall of Famer, man, that took over a team and they started and they was winning. So of course, because everybody was saying they shouldn't have won none of them games, they wasn't gonna do nothing, and he was proving everybody wrong. So for you to get up there and be like, I'm gonna show them they getting all the attention, we should be getting attention. And even though you won, you ain't have to do it like that, man. You ain't have to do it like that. Prime ain't did nothing to y'all, man. Y'all was mad at him. Them boys, like he said, I ain't the one playing. Them boys playing. But anywho, Buckeyes, y'all did y'all thing. Respect. Now, the last game of the quarterfinals, first of all, prayers go out to everybody in New Orleans for everything that happened in that terrorist attack. The dumpster, man, that's just the devil, man. The devil would be bound in Jesus' name. Oh, we believers up here on We Win Sports Talk. We stand on business about that, bro. We stand on business about that. Praying for everybody in New Orleans, man, because we're not having that. You know what I'm saying? We're not having that. So prayers go up to them for that evil that just tried to come through on the new year, man. Really? Come on, man. On the new year, this what you want to do? You want to try to open up, and then there's some other stuff that's been happening today. In a couple other places, man. I plead the blood of Jesus over these places. I plead the blood of Jesus over this country. So, but prayers go out to New Orleans, man, for the people that lost their family members, for the people that are injured and hurt. And that's a cowardly act. When you do damage to somebody and you kill yourself, nah, that's a cowardly act. And I know some cultures think that, you know, that's the thing, that's the honorable thing to do. Nah, man, that's a coward. That's a cowardly act. That's just like the dude that kill his family, then he gonna kill himself. Because you don't want to face the punishment that you got to deal with because you showed your tail. I digress. But prayers to New Orleans. So therefore, the Georgia game and Notre Dame game was pushed to last night. And the thing that I thought and I said I believed what's going to happen happened. And that was Notre Dame prevailed and beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. That hold up, y'all. I was reading something. Notre Dame just, man, they flat out manhandled Georgia last night. They flat out just said, we tired of everybody saying when we get to these top bowl games, we gonna lose. We tired of everybody saying that because we lost to Northern Illinois. We tired of everybody saying that we can't show up in prime time and show up. So look, we about to show up and show out. And they did, man. Their offensive line was just more dominant. Head coach Marcus Smart, man, he was smart. I'm tripping. I named both coaches. Marcus Freeman. My apologies, sir. Marcus Freeman. Yes, he outcoached Kirby last night. And you know, Kirby was taking the reins as being the next big coach. And don't take nothing from UGA because they've built what they built and they've earned it. Now the problem is sometimes UGA fans be thinking that they boo-boo don't stink and that they untouchable. And that they ain't supposed to lose. Man, it's college football. Especially now. It's any given Saturday. College football is not the same. NIL has changed everything, man. Bars. It's not the same. So, Notre Dame, man, led by Marcus Freeman, they just outplayed UGA. They outpowered them. And 0-0 first quarter, second quarter, Notre Dame went on a small run. Kicked two field goals, caused a turnover right before the half was up, and went in and scored. Took the lead, and they ain't looked back from there. They ain't looked back, and they were just more powerful on the line. Told y'all in them trenches, it don't matter what your performance players are, your specialty players are. If you don't have it in them trenches, you can't do nothing. And they had it in the trenches, and they didn't even have their best player. They didn't even have it. They didn't even have their best running back playing. And Jeremiah Love, like he got injured. So the backup, Riley Leonard, comes in and just flat out plays. Again, 14 rushes for 80 yards, 14 for 80. That's that per carriage average, 5.7. And they just, man, not to mention out the gate coming out of halftime, kickoff return, special teams played special. They won on all levels last night. And then the dominance that they played in the fourth quarter, 5 minutes left. They did a Sharon Moore. 5 minutes left. We're gonna show y'all. Run the ball. Run the ball. Run the ball. Run the ball. Down your throat. Take this. Take this. Run the ball. Down your throat. Just dominance on their offensive line. And I was one that I was speaking to John Freaky at 929 the game earlier. Was it the day before? The day before. And I said, I think Georgia's saving grace may be their defense, because their defense is still strong, even though their offense has been missing Carson Beck when he was playing wide receivers, missing passes. ETN has been all right, but their saving grace was supposed to be their defense. And mind you, ETN last night had 11 rushes for 38 yards. 11 rushes for 38 yards, 3.5 yards per carry. Frazier has 4 yards, 37 yards, 4 carries for 37 yards, 9.3, but it was too late. Gunnar Stockman did have 20 for 32, 234 yards passing, 1 touchdown. However, Notre Dame was just more powerful, more dominant. Now, the shift on that is this, because the SEC was known for, I said it, their offensive line, their defensive line. Always had bigger, stronger first-round draft picks. Then, behind them first-round draft picks, waiting was other first-round draft picks that was coming off the bench. So they was always loading up. NIL has changed that. So now them dudes that was on the bench that could have started somewhere else are going somewhere else now because of NIL. Instead of waiting their turn, they're like, nah, we're gonna get it now. And that's what's there. And that's what has been the demise of the SEC. Is because NIL has said, hey, come get this money, come start with us. And players are taking it. So UGA took one in the Sugar Bowl last night, just manhandled by Notre Dame. That was the quarterfinals. So now we on to the Final Four. Before the national championship, you got the Buckeyes versus them Longhorns, and that Irish versus them Nittany Lions in the Orange Bowl. That's your semifinals before the national championship comes back to the ATL, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That Buckeye game versus Texas, Buckeyes. Notre Dame versus Penn State. That's probably gonna be the best game competitively wise. On that one, I like both their coaches, man. But I don't have one for that yet. Because they both can play now. They both can play, man. They both got some strengths and weaknesses. That's kind of an even game. So it's kind of like, dang, who are you gonna pick? Some people may say Notre Dame. Some people may say Penn State. So that's one that, we'll see. I don't really have a pick on that one yet, man. I expect that to be very competitive. So again, like, comment, and share, and subscribe, man. Message. But yeah, that's that one. That's that. Man. So man, we've been talking tonight, man. We've been talking. I've been getting it in, man. So got one more thing that I want to drop before we get out of here, man. And that's a big shout out and a big up to somebody for what they've been doing. And that's I don't know, and it's past, but I don't know if y'all saw this, but I didn't want to leave the night without making some notes, because I told you here we win sports talk, and I know we going into the later hour. We on an hour and 20 minutes, but I wanted to not let this slide tonight, and I'm gonna bring this back up, but man, I got to give big props to this right here, man. That is right there, Snoop Dogg's Arizona Bowl. Did y'all notice that Snoop had a bowl game? I mean, big Snoop Dogg, Snoop Dogg, man. Arizona game presented by Gin and Juice by Dr. Dre. Rolling down the street, sipping on gin and juice by Dr. Dre and Snoop. Snoop, y'all, got his own bowl game, and that's huge, man. That's big. That was big. It was already played. It was played on the 28th. And it was between Colorado State, who we don't mess with in Colorado, and Miami of Ohio. And it was a runaway. It was a runaway game, which we don't care. What I mean by we don't care, we in Buff Nation, that Colorado State got the brakes beat off of them 43-17. Everything they tried, all that nonsense they tried to talk, but just to recap that, Colorado State got thrashed in that game. But the bigger picture of it is they running back had 9 rushes for 148 yards rushing. Miami of Ohio's running back Evan Davis, 9 rushes for 148 yards, 16.4 yards rushing. Well, he run that thing like T. Warrington was on that double deuce, boy. He run that thing like T. Warrington. 16.4 yards to carry. Longest run was 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's dominance in the run game right there. However, the big picture was, y'all, Snoop got a bowl game. So he signed a partnership agreement with Arizona Bowl to be the bowl game title and presenting sponsor. Signed a multi-year deal, man. Sponsorship deal. Partners with them that he put up on X. And it used to be sponsored by Barstool, but now it's sponsored by him in partnership with Gin and Juice by him and Dre, by Dre and Snoop. The fact that he was able to put that off, and this is one of his statements. College football fans are exhausted by talk around NIL, conference realignment, coach movement, transfer portal, super conference, So it's time we get back to the roots of college football, when it's focused on the cottages, the players, the competition, the community, the fan experience, the pageantry. The pageantry, Snoop Dogg said. Being a fan of college, a supporter, a coach, supporter on all levels of the game, it's only fitting that I step up and help this thing right now. I'm ready to bring the juice back to college football. And Snoop got the Arizona Bowl. Snoop Dogg, Arizona Bowl. Hey man, big up to Snoop on that, man. Big up. Hold on, I ain't done. Big up to Snoop on that. On getting that accomplished, man. That right there, that's just winning. You know what I'm saying? In that aspect. To be able to be who he is, and to be able to, ain't no rapper ever did that, y'all. Ain't no rapper did that. You ain't seen just, let's see, hold on, let's see. You gotta watch what you say now these days. Okay. You ain't seen the Smooth T Sugar Bowl. You know, the Big Daddy Kane or the LL Cool J Cotton Bowl. But you seeing the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl by Gin and Juice. So I mean, then look, they got the two low riders, the 6'4s, which is 6'4 is my favorite old school car. But then they had the green for Colorado State, the red for Miami of Ohio. So man, that's just big ups, man. Big ups, big props to Snoop on that, man. That's super dope for hip hop. That's super dope for him and his family, especially coming from hip hop, where they said that, oh, it's not gonna last. But everything that you see now is hip hop motivated. They don't try to take over. So big props to Snoop, man. Big props to Snoop, man. So hey man, look, I know we've been riding for a minute. I appreciate y'all for kicking it with me. So we gonna get ready to wrap this thing up, man. I appreciate y'all for showing up today, man. It's been a great New Year start, but let's do it like this, man. I said it on the last show. 2024 is over with. We in 25, and for me, my motto this year is I'm gonna thrive in 25. I'm not stopping. I don't care what the numbers look like. Consistency comes to breakthrough comes by consistency. You know, only the strong will survive. And consistency is the way to the breakthrough. So like I said before, just like that water that just keeps tapping on that brick or on that stone, and eventually that hole breaks through, and all of a sudden, once you see that first hole that break through, oh, it's a wrap. That's what we doing, man. That's what we doing. So this year, what I encourage y'all to do, man, is don't let anything stop you, man. Don't be moved by negativity. Don't be moved by social media. Everything on social media is masqueraded. But stay truth and substance. And for me, that substance is the word of God. That's my lifeline, faith in the word. So he's already said that no weapon formed against me will prosper. Every tongue that rises up against me in judgment, I shall condemn. So I have the power, because I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me, Smooth T. So I give you the same thing. Though oppositions may come, we've talked about it before. The opposition don't kill you, it's only going to make you stronger. The weapon is there to try to form, but it's not going to prosper. It's there, but it's only there to make you stronger, and you got to understand that you can dominate it. So man, that's what we at for 25, man. We ain't stopping, man. We started something here. Got a lot of projects coming down the pipeline. We win sports talk. This is just the beginning. We Win Sports Talk Media. Everything that we doing smooth T. We got music projects coming down the line. So we would definitely thrive in 25, man. So I encourage you to do the same thing, man. Don't let nothing stop you. Endure, 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 and you will be fine. Because in the end, you will win. And here on We Win Sports Talk, winning is the end game. If you ain't about to win, y'all know what it is. Don't go in. So hey, man, that is my time for today, man. I appreciate it. I know it was long-winded. We was talking. Hopefully you enjoy yourself. You enjoy what you seeing. Thank you again for coming and showing up, because you could have been anywhere, but you choose to come kick it with me. So thank you for showing up, man. I appreciate you. This is going to be a great year for you. It's going to be a great year for your family. It's going to be a great year for you to do the things that you've been trying to do. So just keep doing it, pursue, and don't stop, man. Hey, man, it's your boy Smooth T, your host with the most. God bless you. I appreciate y'all, man. Remember, like and subscribe right here. Like, subscribe, share. Let's run these numbers up, man. Let's get these subscribers, man, because I do want to do these live videos while we on the chat, and we can talk back with each other. However we gonna do it, it's gonna get done. But we not gonna stop. We gonna keep going, because we're gonna bring you best sports content across this nation, across this world. Got so much more coming down. We'll be back with another episode. Got my man Dukes with the Scoop. He gonna come with us. Got my man LT the Guru coming. So look, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be good, man. So just keep pressing, keep pressing. We ain't gonna stop. We ain't gonna stop. We just building that. We building that media muscle, baby. So hey, I appreciate y'all again. Have a great night. Happy New Year again. Peace and God bless. Thank y'all for showing up for us. Peace. I said peace. Oh, y'all go check out that buff walk too. Go check it out. Like and subscribe. Comment. Share. Now, peace.